Okay, let's just get right into it. Ever feel like you're playing a game, but you have no idea what the rules are? You're working hard, you're doing everything you're supposed to do, but you just never seem to get ahead? Well, today, we're pulling back the curtain, we're going to expose the hidden rules of money, and, more importantly, give you a way to finally fight back.
I want to start with a question that's going to sound absolutely insane. What if I told you that the number you see in your banking app, the money you think is sitting there safe and sound, doesn't actually exist?
And look, this isn't a metaphor, it's not some wild conspiracy theory. As one financial historian put it, this is literally the fundamental design of the entire global financial system. It's a trick so old and so baked into everything that we've all just accepted it as normal. But once you see it, I promise you everything about why you feel financially squeezed is going to click into place.
So, how in the world does this work? It all boils down to a system that quietly turns your money into a money-making machine, but for the banks. Let's break down how that happens.
It's a thing called fractional reserve banking. And honestly, the idea is deceptively simple. When you put your money in the bank, they don't just lock it in a vault. No way. They're legally allowed to keep just a tiny piece of it, a fraction, and then they loan out all the rest to create brand new loans.
All right, now this is where it gets kind of crazy. Just look at the math here. You deposit $100. The bank holds on to $10, and bam, it lends out $90. Now the person who borrows that money spends it, and whoever gets it deposits it in their bank. That second bank then keeps $9 and lends out $81. This cycle just repeats over and over, and just like that, your little $100 deposit has magically been multiplied into nearly $1,000 floating around the economy. It is literally money created out of thin air.
But here's the catch. This is the big secret they hope you never figure out. Of that new $1,000, only your original 100 is actual deposit money. The rest of it, every single cent, it's debt. Every new dollar created in this system is born as an obligation, someone's promise to pay it back with interest. The entire system isn't just about debt, it's built on it.
Okay, so if the system is just pumping out all this new money as debt, who's actually getting rich from this? Because let me tell you, this new money doesn't just spread out evenly to everyone. Not even close. It's more like a race, and where you are in that line determines whether you win or you get crushed.
Yeah, there's a fancy name for this, the Cantillon effect. It sounds complicated, but it's not. It's an old economic idea, but it is more true today than it has ever been. All it says is this: when new money gets created, whoever gets their hands on it first wins. Big time. They get to spend it before prices have a chance to go up. Everyone else? Well, we just get stuck with the inflation.
And this slide lays it out perfectly, the winners and the losers. The winners are the ones standing right next to the money printer. You've got the banks, the government, and people who already own a ton of assets, like stocks and real estate. They get to scoop up all that new cash while things are still cheap. And the losers? Well, that's pretty much everyone else. Anyone earning a salary, anyone trying to be responsible and save their money. By the time that money finally trickles down to us, the prices for everything have already skyrocketed. You're paying a hidden inflation tax and you don't even know it.
And look, this isn't just some abstract economic theory. This is the reason why so many of us feel like we're on a hamster wheel. You're working harder than ever, maybe even getting raises, but you just can't seem to get ahead. You're running faster and faster just to stay in the same place. This is that middle-class squeeze in action.
Let's go back in time for a second. Back in 1971, President Nixon got on TV and made this huge promise. He was taking the US dollar off the gold standard, which basically meant the government could now print as much money as it wanted. But he said, don't worry, your dollar will be just as good tomorrow as it is today. So, how'd that promise work out?
Since 1925, the US dollar has lost, wait for it, 95% of its purchasing power. No, that's not a typo. 95%. The money you work so hard to save is being systematically destroyed year after year. The whole game is set up to punish savers and reward people who go into debt.
Okay, so what does the squeeze actually feel like today? Let's forget the history and the percentages. Let's talk about something real. Let's talk about buying a house, or what they call a starter home these days, the one that costs $500,000.
And that $500,000 price tag? Oh, that's just the appetizer. When you start piling on the real costs, your mortgage, your property taxes, which are always going up, insurance, and then there's PMI, which is just a fancy term for a penalty for not being rich enough for a big down payment, plus just basic maintenance, the real cost every single month is over $4,000, $4,367.
So who on earth can actually afford that? I mean, seriously, using the standard rules of finance, you'd need to be making about $187,000 a year. But the median household income in America? $84,000. Just look at that gap. This is why you feel priced out. It's not your fault, it's the brutal math. The system has completely disconnected from the reality of what normal people actually earn.
Okay, deep breath. The system is rigged. We get it. It's designed to funnel wealth upwards. You and I, we're not going to change that system tomorrow. But what you can change, starting right now, are the rules that you play by.
And the first step is to know your real enemy. And it's not what you think. It's not your daily coffee. The real enemy is this invisible force called lifestyle escalation or lifestyle creep. It's that automatic thing we all do. You get a raise, you get a bonus, and your spending just expands to fill it. You make more, so you spend more. And you're still just as stressed, you're just stressed out in a nicer car.
So here it is. Here's your escape plan. It's an aggressive new rule to play by. It's called the $1 rule. And it is dead simple. For every single dollar you decide to increase your monthly lifestyle spending, you must increase your monthly saving or investing by at least that same dollar. No exceptions.
This one little rule, it changes the entire game. It forces your wealth to grow in lockstep with your lifestyle. Not sometime later, maybe. It's not about depriving yourself, it's about creating balance. It forces you to stop and consciously ask, is this new subscription, this nicer apartment, really worth an equal commitment to my future self? It attacks that automatic, unconscious spending that has been bleeding you dry for years.
Because here's the real secret, the one the truly wealthy understand. Building real wealth isn't about some big, flashy, lucky moment. It's built by the quiet, consistent rules you follow day in and day out when nobody else is even watching. It's the boring habits that ultimately make you free.
So the system's rules are set. They're not in your favor. The dollar is going to keep losing value. The game is going to keep rewarding debt. That's a given. The only question that really matters is, what are your rules going to be? Because that is the one thing in this whole game that you have total and complete control over.